Well, I will go ahead and let you guys know. If you have been following me, you know my brand. You know I'm like Hot Mess Express with a little bit of bougie in there. I actually just woke up like 45 minutes ago. Nate and
I
Danny, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "My hair's all messed up," and I'm like, "I just woke up." They're like, "Well, you're soon." I'm like, "I'm fine. Let me just put on a sweatshirt and some makeup really quick. Like, we good to go." So even just me wearing makeup right now, that was a stretch. I'm like on the call with Nate and Daniel, like trying to like warm up, and I'm like, sorry guys, just keep talking. I'm doing my stuff. Anywho, okay,
Come on.
so today we are going behind the science behind viral content, how I went from 0 social media followers to 4.5 years and just over 2 years with organic social media content. So that is what we're going to go over today, how to convert into sales on social media, how to grow your following, and all of the steps that are needed to do that. So for the most part, what I'm going to be teaching is principle based, which means principles never change. So this framework, this outline is going to work for your career, for your social media career, as long as social media exists. Now, strategies change. So some of the strategies I'll be going over inside the framework, those are things that are working right now that are trending. But regardless of where you are at in your marketing career, the framework that I'm going to go over is the same throughout. Okay. So let's get started. First, I want to tell you guys a little bit about me. I know I talk a lot about my story on Instagram, but there's only so much you can tell in Instagram, right? So I got started with this because I was burnt out and depressed. So I remember sitting on my bathroom floor crying one day. I had mascara running down my face, which is why I remember it so vividly, because like I went to go wipe my face and there's like mascara all over my fingers. I had been posting consistently for months. I was in my third niche online, which I will talk to you guys about that. I had been trying to grow 3 separate accounts and 3 separate niches, and nothing worked. So a lot of you guys know I was originally a chiropractor. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Hi, Selena.
Yeah,
So,
she's going out to a seminar. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
oh, I'm so glad you said hey. It's like when the little kids come in the room. Thankfully, my kid's not with me, or else I would have warned you guys that there will definitely be a kid walking around. But Selena's like, I want to say hey. Hey, girl, love you. Okay, so I worked as a chiropractor for 2 years. I spent 4 years getting my chiropractic degree, 4 years getting my bachelor's. I spent over $250,000. It was ridiculous. I worked as one for 2 years. I worked as one for 1 year and I loved it. The second year, I immediately became burnt out. And I was like, I want to do something online. Let me like create a chiropractic course or something like that. And I hired an Instagram coach and nothing was happening. I was not getting traction. I was not getting engagement. I was not getting anyone who was interested in what I had to say. And I'm like, okay, maybe this niche isn't for me. And that's not always the case for people, right? If you're passionate about a niche, you can make it work. I just didn't have the tools to make it work. So then fast forward, my brother passed away unexpectedly. And then I was like, for sure done with work. I was like, I cannot go to work when I want to spend time with the family that I have left. And so I decided I wanted to be a skincare influencer. I was scrolling on TikTok at night, depressed, like we all do when we're trying to numb our brain. And I got really into skincare. So I started a skincare account. I did not gain any followers. I think at the end of like 8 months, I had like 1,000 followers. And I was making skincare review videos for $30 to $40 a video. So it would take me hours and hours and hours, and I would make $40 for a video. And again, just had no idea what I was doing. So again, I'm like, okay, maybe this niche isn't for me. Continued scrolling on Instagram and TikTok. I found people doing digital and affiliate marketing in the Make Money Online space. I started that, still nothing. So I was so frustrated. This is the day that I laid on the bathroom floor crying with mascara running down my face. I would scroll all day trying to find inspiration. I spent way more time on my online businesses than the gurus promised. I was copying other viral marketers and nothing budged. Do you guys feel that way? Like, have you guys done all of that? Scrolled for hours trying to find inspiration, working so hard, wondering why you're not catching up with these other people. That was in the same boat that I was in. That is what I like to call confused digital marketer, Becca. I was a confused digital marketer. I felt frustrated. I felt anxious. I felt envious because I was seeing all these other online millionaires and was jealous that I haven't gotten there yet. And I was completely overwhelmed by what to do, right? I was confused. So, long story short, I spent thousands of hours of research, hundreds of thousands of dollars into coaching, courses, and masterminds. And I have perfected a way to get consistent online sales with every piece of content that I post. And you can do this too. Okay, together we're going to take you from confused digital marketer to millionaire digital marketer. So as a confused digital marketer, not much can happen, right? As seen, I'm sure, by a lot of your efforts. As a millionaire digital marketer, you're making consistent 6-7 figure income. You finally have work-life balance, a flexible schedule to allow you to spend time with friends or family or whatever you want to do during your days, which is so important, So with the framework I'm about to teach you in your followed up action, you will become a millionaire digital marketer too. Okay. I went from $0 for years on end to $1 million in my first 7 months of posting online in this niche. And I'm going to teach you all of those strategies. Okay. So if you are ready to join the big league, then come be a millionaire digital marketer yourself. So let's go over how to do that. So there's a framework that is required. Okay. So I'm going to share a different aspect of my screen here. Oh no, here you are. Here you are. Okay. So if you guys have a paper and pen, I actually encourage you to write this down. So this framework was initially designed to be written in paper and pen. I posted it on here through the computer just so I'm not like maneuvering my laptop down, and I could have easily gotten a whiteboard. Haven't done that yet, but so we made a digital version. If you guys have pen and notebook, get out a notebook paper, okay? So the center of the triangle, this is what we want, right? We all want consistent 10K months, consistent online income. So what do we have right now? We have no people, we have no interest, and we have no sales, okay? So these are all of our problems, right? These are the problems that we need to fix in order to get to those consistent 10K months. So in order to solve this problem, if we have no people, we need to learn how to attract people every day. If we have no interest, we need to learn how to generate active demand for people to want to know you and your products and your offerings. And for no sales, in order to get sales, we need to have sales every week. Okay, so let's Sean McClellan's mouse over here. Sean, I can see you active on here. This is actually Sean's framework, and now I'm seeing his little mouse move around. Not Sean's framework. I'm sorry, Sean's PDF. We created the framework. Okay, so how do we do this? So how do we attract people every day? Well, we need to know your audience and we need to speak their language. Okay, so I remember, like I said before, I was posting in 3 separate niches. I was not getting any followers or sales, and it's because I wasn't resonating with my audience. You need to know your audience in order to start making sales. So a lot of you guys know me as somebody who took off with exponential success, really quick success, right? And that's what I hear all the time. You got lucky, you did it so quickly, you're a natural. No, not at all. Like I said, I had spent years trying to grow and take off other social media accounts before this one. So while it may seem like I made my first million in 7 months, it really took 3 years and 7 months. And it wasn't until I started to know my target audience that things took off exponentially. I went through all the trial and error phase. And once I learned, that's where the quote unquote quick success happened. Okay. So, I need to plug in my laptop. I'll tell you why. I was sitting at a desk and I moved because the lighting was awful. And now I realized my laptop is not plugged in anymore. Okay, so we need to know your audience, right? You need to speak their language. So what does this mean? Everyone's like, well, of course I speak their language. Like they hate their job. I tell them to quit their job. I tell them to quit their 9 to 5. But you need to use common words and phrases that your audience uses. So like, if your audience says like, I'm so sick of being broke, you're not going to come in and say, are you feeling frustrated because your job is not paying you what you want? Like, no, just come out straight and say it. Like, you're sick of being broke. People are like, oh, yeah, I am. She gets me. If people say they hate their job, then start addressing their job, not their 9 to 5, right? Because people aren't labeling their job as a 9 to 5, they're labeling it as a job. So in order to do this, you need to really understand and get in their head. You need to know their likes, their dislikes, their pain, their objections as to why this problem can't get fixed. You need to know everything about their life. And I do this by I once did this by performing hours and hours Zoom calls a week, literally. And now, thankfully, Freedom AI, I know most of you are all Funnel Freedom users in the group. Freedom AI has now the target market analyzer. Get that. It's life-changing. Go through it, and you'll start to generate those ideas of how you can talk to and resonate with your target audience. Okay. So that is how we are going to go from no people to attracting people every single day. And let me pull my tab back up. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we have no interest. So we need to generate active demand. How do we do this? Well, we need to create curiosity and we need to consistently communicate. Okay, so what does that mean? How do we do that? I'm like switching back and forth between my PowerPoint and my notes. Okay, so how do we do that? So this is where you are going to provide value to your clients. You're going to post educational content, inspirational content. Educational is in, teach them about a problem they want to be solved. Inspirational is in telling a story, telling a transformation, telling a client testimonial, something that's going to inspire that person to think, hey, if you can do it, I can do it, right? And when they're inspired and they're feeling like they can do it and they can adapt that new identity, they're going to be curious. They're going to be curious. It's going to get them to know who you are and wonder how you can help them. So I post an even mixture of educational and inspirational content, and actually a third piece of content, which is promotional content, but there's a little strategy for how to post promotional content. It's not just spamming people with your links. Okay, so we'll go over that. Okay, so in order to consistently communicate, this is posting consistently. And I know you guys think that this is about an email list, right? And email lists are important. We want to communicate with them, but we're talking about social media here. And in order to consistently communicate with your audience, you need to post every single day. Every single day. People need to see something 8 to 14 times before they're willing to purchase. And actually, what's funny is when I first started my online business 2.5 years ago, people only needed to see something 5 to 12 times before they were willing to purchase. But now, because there's so much coming at them, they need to see something 8 to 14 times before they are willing to purchase, before they are willing to even to consider to purchase. So, for example, I have a $20,000 a year inner circle program. And people in my inner circle program, a lot of them, they were following me for 1.5 years. They never bought anything. They didn't buy any of my low ticket offers, nothing. The second I released the inner circle, they were in, so you never know who is going to trust you after 3 months, 6 months, a year. The point is you need to stay consistent. Okay. Without staying consistent and without recognizing that that's what people need in order to continue knowing you exist, my business wasn't doing great. Once I started posting consistently, things started turning around. Okay. They just started turning around. So let's get to the nitty gritty. So let's see, we know how to create curiosity and we know how to generate active demand. Okay, so let's go back to this. If I can find it, please don't judge me for my lack of tech skills. I'm sorry. Here we go. I am here. Oh, wait, no, we're here. Okay, so what's the last step? We have no sales. We need sales every week. So what do we do for that? We need to post conversion content and we need to follow up. Okay, so conversion content, this is kind of where most people are like, perfect, cool. What the heck does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, so without conversion content, let me tell you guys a little example. I had recently I made, one of my first business mistakes, which was I hired a social media expert to start helping me post to my stories. I was like, I post to my feed every day. I'm coaching people now. Like I need to hire somebody to post to my stories and regulate all of that. She started doing that, spamming people with buy links, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. My stories views went less than a fourth. This is the real data. I'm not just exaggerating. So they went less to a fourth of what they were before. And my follower count decreased drastically because they stopped seeing me as that inspirational person that they love and that they know, and started seeing me as this person who just spams buy links every day. Okay. So there are things that you need to do to create conversion content. You need to make people feel like they can do this. Okay. People have doubts, they have fears. And so you want to create content that makes them feel like it's possible for them, and then makes them realize they need this help right here. I did all of that work. I did the whole, make them feel understood, make them realize that I am the person that can help them. But once the story stopped and all the spam links started buying, that little call to action that kind of pushes them over the edge, that wasn't happening anymore. And so sales dropped significantly, right? So engagement dropped, follower count dropped, and sales dropped significantly. The second that I started posting to my stories again and posting call to actions, that, I post inspirational, I post educational things in my feed. And then in my stories, when I started posting screenshots of testimonials, more of my story, sales started picking up. My stories went back to the way they were, quadrupled. And follower count, you know what? It took a while to lose them. It's going to take a little bit to gain them back, and that's okay. But sales are good. And what's really cool about this is the framework allows you to make sales even when you don't have a large following. Okay. So last step in this framework, and then we'll get into the strategies, is you want to respond to people in the DMs. Okay. So sales start in the stories, right? Which is why it's so important to continue posting on there, and they end in the DMs. Okay. So when I first started, another reason why I think a lot of you guys, if you followed my journey, you've seen this quick success, is that I used to spend 6 hours a day in my DMs, right? I would spend 2 hours creating content and the other 6 hours were in my DMs. So I hired a VA for this. Another business mistake, not hiring a VA. VAs are great. I had a VA who just was a little type B and wasn't really doing anything. So she wasn't following up with people. So my engagement really started going down and my sales started dropping for that as well. I would have people send me these like amazing long messages like, hey, I really love this course, like it changed my life. And she would respond with thanks, heart face, like nothing of value, nothing like that. People would ask questions. She'd give them short word answer, if at all. So people really need that follow-up. They need to feel like you get them, that you're willing to take the time to actually talk to them and nurture them and communicate with them. And then they'll be like, okay, this person is good. Let me work with this person. Okay. So those are the steps that I took to go from frustrated digital marketer to millionaire digital marketer. So I know a lot of you guys must be feeling like, okay, conversion content. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to post. When I first started, like I said, I was posting with no rhyme or reason. I had no idea what to say. I didn't have a following. I wasn't making any sales. I'm sure how many of you guys feel that way? You've been posting consistently and you are not seeing the sales. I'm curious. Give me a yes or a one in the comments. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's wild, right? And I feel like nobody teaches you these things. So during that time, I hired a coach who told me I wasn't speaking to my target audience at all. And that is when I was like, what does that even mean though? And she's like, well, you need to niche down and you need to talk to their fears, desires, limiting beliefs, all the things. And I'm like, okay. So I started doing a lot of research. And that was the first time I realized how important it is to talk to your target audience. And we all know that, right? But like, we don't know how. So you need to not only talk to them, but you need to make sure you are talking to them about a specific thing, niche down. Don't say, hey, I can help you make money online with this, 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 this. Niche down. Say, hey, I can help you online through affiliate marketing. And, I'm talking to burnt out 9-to-5ers, teaching them affiliate marketing. You're not going to say, hey, I'm talking to everyone, teaching them everything, right? Because everyone's a coach on everything, right? You want to stand out. You need to be the expert on one thing. And it's okay if you're not the expert yet. People don't need to know that. So once I figured that stuff out, sales grew like crazy. And that's the first time I really understood, like I said, how important talking to them is. So I then decided I was going to get really specific with it, right? Because everyone's like, well, talk to your target audience, just talk to their pain, their beliefs, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like I'm trying. So I decided, well, why can't this be easier to figure out? Like, let's get more specific. Let's break down exactly what target audience points to address, what to talk about, what the purpose of each post is supposed to do. I made my framework for this. I mapped out my content pillars. I mapped out my target audience. And I mapped out my content categories, which is educational, inspirational, and promotional. And I made sure to create a piece of content that goes with each one of those every single day. And what happened was that I went from making $50,000 a month to $200,000 a month in literally 2 months when I started honing in on all of these things. And on top of that, knowing all of these things makes your content creation effortless. Every single piece of content you create speaks directly to your target customer and what they need to hear in order to make a purchase from you. So many people talk about entertaining content, and that's important, but our goals are sales, right? Our goals aren't to just go viral. And in order to do this, you really need to master these skills. For example, I know somebody who had 150,000 followers, was not making any sales at all. None. She's like, I maybe made 2 sales since I started 6 months ago. And I'm like, you have 150,000 followers. How is this happening? And it was because she was so caught up in the vanity metrics and the follows and the likes and not posting the type of content that's actually going to resonate with her target audience. So for example, and I know that you guys know, there's people in the space with 1 million followers, 500,000 followers. I have in the 400s now, but when I first started making my 7 figures, I was in the 100,000 follower range. And I know that sounds like a lot to you guys, but I was like, it was a lot lower compared to other people in my space, yet I was making an exponential amount more money than they were. And it was because I had these dialed in. A common thing that I hear all the time is that it is too saturated. There's too much competition, and that's not true. Okay. Tell me, who thinks it's too much saturated and there's too much competition? And that might be one of the reasons that are holding you back. You guys tell me. Are you saying no, Nathan? You're like, nobody answer that question. If you've been
No, I
coaching,
say all I'm saying is there's never has been oversaturation and never will be.
never will be. So let's talk about why. I'm so glad that you guys are on the same page of this. Okay.
Oversaturation is just a limited mindset.
Exactly. And so a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, I don't have innate talent. How do I do this? All these people, they're so much more talented than me. And so this kind of comes in with too much competition. People don't buy from you based off of what you are selling. They buy from you based off of who you are and what kind of experience you can give them. And, something you can think about is purses. Like we have too many purses, right? Like there's enough things out there for people to put their stuff in, yet people continue to buy them. And they go and they buy these bags because they have this nice experience. Like, are you going to go to Walmart to buy a bag where they are checking your receipt just to make sure you didn't steal the bag? Or are you going to go into a store where they're like, hey, how are you? What can I help you with? What style do you like? Okay, why don't you try on this one? Why don't you try on this one? It's a whole experience. And you start to feel like that that worker actually cares about you and cares about what you want. And that makes us feel good, right? So we continue to buy. So when people talk about oversaturation or they feel like they don't have innate talent, they're not naturally charismatic, they can't do this, you're going to find your tribe. There is a reason why we want to be so specific with our target audience, right? We want to attract more people and we want to repel the wrong people. When I first started getting into my target audience, I lost followers. And it was because I wasn't resonating with them. But that being said, I gained all of these sales. So even though my follower account lowered, I was gaining all these sales because the people that I were targeting, I was resonating with. And that's the same with too much competition and not feeling like you're innately talented, is you're going to find your tribe. You need to get good at talking to your target audience. And when you do, people will say, this is the person that's going to help me. Like, for example, another example I like to give is if you have heart problems, are you going to go to a general doctor or are you going to go to a cardiologist? You'll probably go to a cardiologist. So be so specific in who you help. Those other people that don't need to see a cardiologist, they'll go see a different person who's specific in what they can help. But you're going to find your tribe, okay? And when it comes to lack of innate talent, that is not a thing either. All of these are skills that can be learned. And with this framework and with creating content that converts and knowing your target audience, you will be able to completely just change the game. Everything you thought about saturation, everything you thought about not having innate talent, I'm not worthy, it's going to change for you. And you'll gain this confidence that you've never had before because you set your mind on something, you did it, you took action, and it took off beyond your wildest dreams. Okay. So those are my secrets. I would like to put together, I have a little, let's see. Okay. So for example, we'll just rewind for a minute because I wasn't looking at my PowerPoint. Here are some examples of some educational content that I posted that's specifically in my niche. These are educational. This is getting people close to me, right? This one's got 8,000 saves, 9,000 likes. This one's got 3,000 likes, 189 saves. This one's got 441 likes, 87 saves, which this is all on TikTok. So this is actually pretty good for my TikTok stuff. But these are my educational pieces of content, talking to my target customer every single time. How do I get to the next slide? Okay, here are some examples of my inspirational content that's really going to make somebody feel like they can do that too. Okay, so my inspirational content, I always put a call to action, and you can see based off of how many people, liked and commented on that call to action, you can see how many qualified or how many active hot leads you have. So right here on this inspirational reel, I wrote comment VIP to join my 5-day challenge. I have 282 comments of people commenting keywords. And these are not spam comments anymore. I know like we all get, I have my assistant delete those now. So these are true comments. This one is the exact same. I just clipped a different clip. That was an accident. Over here, we have again, I'm created an inspirational reel. I'm leaving a call to action. We got 112 comments. Over here, same thing, inspirational, leave a call to action, 158 comments. Over here, 114. Over here, 142. So posting an even mixture of both of these things is a great way to get people to trust you, like you, know you, and the extra content, that's just bonus to get them pushed over the edge, okay? So how many of you, well, I'm kind of giving away the answer here. I was going to ask, how many of you think knowledge is power? But you clearly already know how I'm feeling here. I actually said this in a webinar a couple weeks ago. I was like, how many of you guys think knowledge is power? Everyone was like, yes, 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 right? Knowledge is worthless. You can know all of these things and keep them in your head. It's knowledge plus action that is power. Okay.
Applied knowledge.
Applied knowledge.
Applied knowledge is power, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Applied knowledge plus action, all of it, right? Action takers and money makers. Okay, so here's how we're going to get this done ASAP because money follows speed. I put together a special deal for you guys. Literally just you guys, never before had anything priced this, but I want to offer you guys my Creation to Conversion Academy. Okay, this is going to help you stop posting without a purpose, master the hidden strategies that turn everyday content into sales machines that all those other courses conveniently skip, right? And they do. There's no fluff. There's just proven methods that work right now. And what I want to emphasize in here is it is not like other courses that teach you how to start a business and teach you how to create reels. This teaches you how to create content that actually converts so you can be making those sales, okay? So here's what all it comes with. So we have my ultimate content branch system, which individually it's $3,997. And this is my proprietary framework for creating unlimited content that converts followers into customers without the guesswork. This step-by-step system transforms struggling creators into confident content marketers who know exactly what to post every single day. This is how you're going to go from confused digital marketer to millionaire digital marketer. Okay, we also have 8 weeks of on-demand video training. This normally is $19.97. These are easy to follow video modules that walk you through each element of the Freedom Framework, which is the framework I just went over with you guys, and is accessible to any device at your convenience. We have the Audience Connection Blueprint. This is my proven process for deeply understanding your ideal customer, speaking their exact language, allowing you to create content that resonates on a psychological level and triggers a special part of their brain called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, not to get too sciencey, is this part of the brain that triggers people to pay attention to you every single time you talk and to recognize within the first 3 seconds that whatever you're saying is for them. And I'm not talking about hooks. I'm talking about talking to them in a way that they will relate to. Okay. So we also have the curiosity content formula. This is the exact methodology I use to quadruple my monthly revenue. Remember, I told you I made from 50K to 200K by crafting content that keeps your audience coming back for more and eager to buy what you're selling. And then we also have the conversion content playbook. So beyond just inspiring and educating, learn how to create content specifically designed to overcome objections and guide followers to making personal purchasing decisions. So objections in this case is, why would somebody not want to get this offer fixed? What is their limiting beliefs here? Once I started incorporating their objections into my target audience analysis and into my content, sales grew exponentially. Because they might like what you have to say, but those objections are not going to go away until you address those objections. So you address those objections, all those people that were on the fence, they're ready to buy. Okay. So we also have some bonuses. One is the 365-day content calendar template. Never wonder what to post again with this comprehensive template that organizes your content branches into a full year of posts. And we repeated the same sentence after that. So I literally used this content calendar template. It's so funny because I actually was on a coaching call the other day and one of the girls was like, "Do you actually use this?" And I was like, "Yes, I created it not for you guys, but for myself." I used it every single day and it made content so much easier to plan. It lets you pick out your pillar, your category, and your market research tool. So you know, okay, these are the 3 things I'm going to address today. Here's what my reel is going to be about. Makes it so much easier. Okay. We also have the market saturation antidote, which is my unique approach to standing out in even the most crowded markets by leveraging your personal story and authentic voice. We have the sales generating story formula, which is my framework for crafting compelling stories that trigger emotional responses, lead naturally to sales. So learn exactly how compelling stories that trigger emotional responses. Oh my God, y'all. I am literally borderline dyslexic and have ADHD, so please excuse me. Learn exactly how to structure narratives that release cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin in the perfect sequence to drive purchasing decisions. If you guys have been following my content, you know I talk about cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These are the 4 molecules that are released in your brain during an ideal storytelling sequence. And we go over my 12 different story formulas that gets these to be released every single time. Whether you feel like you have a story or not, there are stories in every situation. Okay. So there's a 12 story tower framework that we go over in here. And then we also have the algorithm proof content strategy, which, like I said, these are all principles, right? Some strategies change, but principles never change. So my algorithm proof content strategy is my future focused approach on creating content that remains effective regardless of what platform changes, regardless of what platform you use, any algorithm updates. And that way you can ensure that your business maintains consistent visibility and growth. And based off of the last 2.5 years that I have been in this space, from going to making 7 figures in, 2.5 million my first year to completely dropping off in the middle half of my second year because of all of these things, that I hadn't had perfected yet to completely picking back up to where I was. I know for sure everything that is needed and how important all of these things are. Okay, so let's talk about your total investment. We have the ultimate content branch system, $3,997 value. 8 weeks of on-demand training, that's $1,997 value. Audience connection blueprint, $1,497 value. Conversion to content formula or curiosity content formula, $997 value. Conversion content playbook, $1297. You guys can read the rest. Total value of all of this is $12,873. Now, I'm not going to charge you that, and I'm especially not going to charge Nate and Daniel that, because this is a special group. So I wanted to offer something special for you guys. You can get all of this stuff for $1,497. So you will be learning all of these skills, everything that I used to create that $4.5 million business in 2 years, minus the hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes. I'm not kidding, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, I spent multiple 6 figures on ads last year, lost it all. Like, it's not that I broke even. People are like, oh, did you at least break even? No, I think I made 20 grand and I lost like 200 grand. It was awful. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Right. I spent over $120,000 on a coach. Absolutely awful. I spent $35,000 on a coach who I should have coached. And so I have spent all of this time, I've made all of these mistakes, and we're going to fast track that. We are not going to make the same mistakes I did. We're not going to spend all the money that I did. Okay, this system is proven to work organically. And here I am, 2.5 years later, I started running ads and I'm back to just organic, because nothing compares with building your brand as fast as organic can. Okay, so that is all that I have for today. Nathan and Daniel, do you want to open up the floor for Q&A? Do we want to make sure everyone's getting?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this price, 1497, this is the special price, okay? And because of our relationship with Becca, me and Nathan, we already got our order placed already, okay? But this price is only for our followers, our groups, okay? So you won't be able to find this price outside of today's coaching call. Okay, and now if Nathan already dropped a link, if you guys want to learn from Becca, tap into her multi-7-figure framework using just Instagram, right? Know exactly what you need to be creating every single day in order to speak to your target audience directly and boost up your sales, right? Nathan already dropped the link in the Zoom chat, okay? 1497 discounted price just for today, okay? Now we're gonna answer questions. Let me see. We still have some time left. So we're going to spend some time, 20, maybe 20.
Just to emphasize that, Daniel, I'm having a webinar tomorrow and the course is back to $2,000. If you guys attend the webinar, you'll see it's back to $2,000. This is literally just for you guys. I've never offered this before in my life. And when Nate and Daniel and I were talking, I was like, I don't know, that sounds a little like lower than I would charge. And then I was like, you know what, F it. I like care about Nathan and Daniel and I care about you guys. And this is how we're going to fast track it. So
absolutely. All right, let's take some questions. Okay, I do see some questions. Nelson, go ahead. And I also see Nancy. She is asking if this is part of your FIRE program. So maybe you can answer that, Becca.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys have my Money Magnet Millionaire course, it is the same thing, but rebranded. So we've added a bunch. We've taken away anything that's outdated, but overall the strategies are the, everything is the same. So if you own my Money Magnet Millionaire course, don't get this because it will be pretty much the same content. As far as what it's going over in my FIRE challenge, I do teach offer creation in this course and how to create offers that also resonate with your target audience and go along with their buyer's journey. That is not an essential for everyone. And today we're talking about content, so I didn't mention that part, but yes, it does go along with my FIRE challenge. That being said, my FIRE challenge was just a challenge, right? It was really, really short. And the actual offer building module in the course is way more in depth. So you guys will finish with a full offer suite, low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket, upsell, downsell, order bumps, freebie, all of it that goes along with your ideal customer. That's what's all is in my challenge. Let's see, Kenneth, I have a question. Does hashtag work in getting newer audience? Okay, so I've actually A/B tested this. And what's interesting is I watch Instagram's updates. I watch when the creators go live, and Instagram has admitted that hashtags can help with new follower growth. I have A/B tested it on so much piece of content. I have not noticed a single difference. I do not post hashtags at all. It got to a point where my engagement started becoming lower on my hashtag videos. And I'm not sure if that's because Instagram was like, oh, this is a lot, like this is starting to be spammy. So I don't do them at all. I don't do them at all. I never have, not for a couple years.
Hey, Becca, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate your time. One question that I have is I'm with Jonathan and I'm with Pop. And would this complement or would this kind of overlap a little bit in your eyes?
No, I think it will complement so well. And that's why Jonathan and I and Sean, his business partner, do so much work together, is because we all have our special things. You know, Jonathan's very much into YouTube. There's strategies for, I'm specifically short form content, how to create it that converts, regardless of if you're doing affiliate marketing or anything like that. So this will complement it. Like, that was a great question, actually, because 100%. Yes, we'll complement it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so James, how did you decide on who your specific target audience is? So here's what you guys need to do. You need to pick a person and a problem that you want to solve. And when I say a person, I don't mean I help ordinary people make money online, right? That's what I used to say. That was what my bio used to say. You need, now my target audiences, I help online business owners make more money by creating content that converts. It's much more specific. I help online business owners. I help confused, frustrated digital marketers become millionaire digital marketers. So think about a specific problem that you feel confident in, that you know how to solve, that is a target customer that was maybe you 5 years ago, and that's how you'll figure that out. Let's see. Any hints on finding the perfect client and niche? I've been struggling with this. Okay, Chris, hopefully that helped with that.
And if you guys want to basically use this chance to pick up Becca's mentorship at the lowest rate, which is not available anywhere outside of this coaching session, just want to let you guys know, if you are in the United States, you guys can leverage Afterpay, Kalana, okay? After you get to that page, you guys can do like a low monthly payment. I figure I just bring that up. Hopefully that can help you as well.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions, like feel free to message me on Instagram. I am always responding. If it's not me, it's my assistant. And if you want to get transferred to me, you can be like, yo, I know you're Becca's assistant. Send this over to Becca. And she'll be like, okay. So you guys can ask me anything through there. Yeah, I guess that's it.
That's
Thank you
it.
guys
Thank you
so
so much. Yeah. Thank you, Becca. And thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys in the next coaching call. Okay. If you have any questions, just reach out to Becca. And if Becca get too busy, just say, hey, I'm Daniel's friend. Okay. Then she will respond to you in priority.
So I will, if you move it, if you say, hey, I was on Dan and Nate's masterclass, can you transfer me over directly to Becca? I'll be like, she'll say yes, and I'll get back to you.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye,
Becca. See you guys
everybody.
later. Cheers.